What's happening, everybody? It's me, your girl, Gugla Tusibia. We are out here as the Lifestyle League in Pretoria, called Freedom Park. And what are we doing here? We're actually here to listen to Minister Gayton McKenzie brief the media about the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture portfolio. So let's go inside and hear what he's about to say. So tune in. Yes.
Let me begin where millions of South Africans were this past weekend, watching one of the greatest spectacles in world football, the Soweto Derby between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. To many South Africans, it is simply another league feature. But anyone who has experienced it knows that it's far more than that. When people from outside our country see the stadium packed to capacity, the colors, the passion, the songs, and the emotion, they struggle to believe us when we tell them that was just an ordinary league feature. They think it must have been a cup final. They think it must be a continental final. But it's simply the PSL doing what it does best. That is the power of South African sport. It reminds us that sport in this country carries something special that resonates far beyond our borders. But it will be selfish of myself and the Deputy Minister to take all the praise of LIV Golf. I want to praise Panyaza Lisufi, because when I came back and myself and the Deputy Minister met with him and we said, do you want the province to host? Other premiers didn't just say, yeah, you can phone Ella, you'll phone me. Panyaza is a visionary. Panyaza Lisufi is a visionary. He said, explain this thing to me in detail. And after that, he said, I'm in. And I want to mention it today. I also want to mention the cabinet colleagues that we have. The ministers, this would not have been possible if they said no. To all the ministers, the cabinet colleagues, my staff in Dsac, thank you. One of the promises we made was to bring world-class golf sporting events back to South Africa. In just under 3 weeks' time, LIV Golf will arrive in our country. The event is nearly sold out. We are standing at 83,000 tickets sold. The record is held by Australia, which I think is 90,000. We have just made 5,000 extra tickets available because I believe we are going to become the biggest LIV Golf event in the world with 95,000 tickets sold. LIV Golf is not just golf. It is culture, it is fashion, it is music, it is motivational, because we'll be having 54 of the world's top golfers coming. LIV Golf will be the biggest event so far after the G20. I also want to recognize 4 proud South Africans who played a major role in bringing this event to our country. Dean Burmester, Louis Oosthuizen, Charles Schwartzel, Brendan Grace. One example I would like to make, football is evolving. FIFA's head of global development, Arsene Wenger, is currently in advanced discussions around the proposed reform of the offside rule, where a player would only be offside if the entire body is ahead of the defender. How would you see some people that say we don't need VAR? How will you see that with a naked eye? Football is not waiting for South Africa. Luckily, you have a minister and a deputy minister that is not slow. And we have now made sure that everything has been done. We are ready. We've kept our promise of VAR. In my hand here, I have the proof of payment that we wrote to Treasury. Treasury has given us permission. I have paid now from the department with the DM. We've given the money for VAR to SAFA. SAFA must just pay. So there's nothing McKenzie can do anymore. Everything, so I've kept my promise. So I don't want to hear somebody ask me, where is VAR? Here is VAR. I have done my bit. The DM has done her bit. We have given the money for VAR. We have assembled the people. We have done the expertise. So we've delivered on LIV Golf. We've delivered on VAR. I'm coming to the others. Formula One. Another area where progress has been made in South Africa's ambition to return to the Formula One calendar. We have now secured the most important thing, which is the guarantee, the money. We've secured the money for Formula One. Discussions with Formula One management are continuing as we work towards aligning the commercial and promotional aspects to host the race. But I think I must thank the companies and mention them. They stepped forward and they said, we are willing to pay. Those companies are Betway, Discovery, MTN, Canal Plus, and Supersport. These are people that came with, says, here's the money. Here is the money. We want Formula One. But what was curious for me about these companies I've mentioned, I met with Pernod Ricard last week. They also want to help with F1. Red Bull has also asked for a meeting to assist with F1. So F1 is going to happen. Bafana have qualified for the first time since 2002. And we want to see South Africans traveling to the Americas in numbers to support our national team. Myself and the Deputy Minister has already spoken to the Music University in Mexico for a fan park for South Africans to travel. They can go to the fan park. There will be South African artists that will be performing in Mexico at the fan park. And I have spoken a year ago already with the mayor of Atlanta, great mayor of Atlanta. And South Africans will be performing in Atlanta. South African artists shall be performing in Atlanta. The department is going to take chefs for South African cuisine because the university informed us that all the students want to come to the South African fan park. I'm going to repeat that the chefs are not for me. It's because I know I'm going to read. McKenzie is taking his chefs with. There will be a transparent competition of chefs. Our artists will give an opportunity to go to America. Our journalists, you know, I was speaking to a minister, I think, a football official, and he said to me that Morocco is taking 130 or 110 journalists with to the World Cup. Now here in South Africa, people do not understand that journalists, you see I'm speaking for the journalists, they are people that brings information to our people. So in South Africa, we will also take journalists. We also are busy talking to sponsors, where we have a face of South Africa. South African man, as you all know, has been talking for 3 years about the ladies in Cape Verde. Because at the last African Cup of Nations, they had some ladies there at Cape Verde, and you can hide, you know, South African man has been talking about that, including myself, just in case you think I'm throwing you under the bus. But I know that South Africa is the most beautiful woman in the world. We will have an open competition where we want the world to see. That will also make tourism go up, like Cape Verde's tourism has gone up. We'll also take men there. We will have influence that will go. We will have influences. This is the time where things are changing. This World Cup, the last time we qualified was 2002. So we're going to have competitions of people that the South African look, so people can see. We're going to have chefs. We're going to have content creators. We are speaking to different sponsors to take that. Coca-Cola has already come forward to say they will be one of the sponsors of the fan park in South Africa, in Mexico. So we'll speak to sponsors and say, can you pay for this? We want to showcase our dancers, our art. We leave no one behind. And I want to say this very clearly. This very beautiful t-shirt is what Bafana Bafana and all of us are going to wear for the World Cup. This is the official kit of Bafana Bafana done by Adidas. We have supported rugby. We'll have Bok Friday. As soon as Adidas launched this, we shall have Baf Friday. We call it Baf Friday. We shall have a Baf Friday. And I'm doing a call on all corporates and on all corporate to say allow your staff to wear Bafana, to wear the t-shirts on Friday. Some of you had no problem them wearing rugby t-shirts. It's now time to support. And I want to talk to white people in particular. White people, we have supported. Rugby is not a white sport, but it's a sport that we have embraced after Nelson Mandela. Made many of us embrace rugby. And please, we want to see you also with your Friday with your Bafana Bafana shirt. So the moment some of them are saying, no, this t-shirt is very beautiful. Please get yourself a t-shirt. I've spoken to editors to say supply should meet demand. As far as boycotting the World Cup, you know, the problem with people like Bomalem, I just wake up and think, what nonsense can I talk today? How do you boycott the World Cup? It's got everything to do with sponsors. We will be banned. Our players will be banned to play overseas, that plays overseas. It will be Armageddon. So I want to make it very clear, America has not put any travel ban on South Africa. Apply for your visa and get yourself to Mexico, Canada, and if you can't afford, check the competitions that we are going to have for our people to go there. We want to showcase South Africa at the World Cup because, ladies and gentlemen, we have been blessed with the luck of the draw. We've got the first game. It's the most important game in any World Cup, more than the final, the opening game. South Africa is having the opening game, and we want them to see, we want the journalists to write. We will have a transparent process of how the beauty products, the companies that work with beauty products, they want to get involved in the South African men look and the South African woman look. And those are our assets. We are very beautiful people. We mustn't be shy about that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our football has really gone from strength to strength in this country. I saw a match the other day, I'm not going to mention the country, but the man of the match got 150, I'm not going to say the currency, and a bag of mealie meal. So a bag of rice. Dr. Irvin Khoza, we want to give you your flowers while you're still alive. The problem with Dr. Khoza is he's not a chest beater. Dr. Khoza doesn't talk about what he does. And Dr. Khoza has truly changed our football for the better. That's my only problem with Dr. Khoza. When you hear the things that he's doing, you now realize that he never tells the media. So I'm here to tell you, he has led the revolution of our football, our local league. The DDC is the reason why today we can field local players at Bafana Bafana. Now moving to the one I know many of you came here for, CAF. I want to be very clear. Dr. Patrice Motsepe has been, in my view, the best CAF president that we've ever had. Under his leadership, we've seen improved revenues, better treatment and payment of referees and players, stronger development programs, and greater professionalism across African football. Yet, despite these achievements, he continues to face attacks of late. Even for a man on the street, you can see these are coordinated attacks against Dr. Patrice Motsepe. None of us are above criticism. But this is becoming ridiculous. And he's not being attacked with, he has not done 1, 2, or 3. Because he's done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My education is not so high, so I can go on and on and on. Dr. Patrice is being attacked. They make nonsensical statements like he's in the pocket of Infantino. Dr. Patrice in the pocket. He can swipe Dr. Infantino, they can swipe Gianni Infantino. How do you make such, you can accuse him of many things. Don't accuse him of being in the pocket of somebody. As if we don't know. Maybe they don't know Patrice. We know him. So I want to say it right here. He's not an orphan. He has a country. And we will not allow and sit idle while one of our own is being attacked mercilessly and without reason. I want to make that very clear here today. We as South Africa and the countries that is asking us for help, and they want to be part of our African Cup of Nations, but we must support Dr. Patrice. Some critics even talk about he's in the pockets, as I said. I would also like to congratulate Gianni Infantino as he marks 10 years as president of FIFA. His leadership has seen the expansion of global football development programs here in Africa and a stronger focus on Africa. South Africa is very proud to announce under him, FIFA has chosen our country to host the regional FIFA office serving the 40 nations of Southern Africa, strengthening development across the region. However, ladies and gentlemen, there's one issue we must address frankly. Nobody wants to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it today. The situation surrounding the Women African Cup of Nations is deeply concerning. You have seen the Deputy Minister sitting besides me, sitting right here, was part of meetings we had where we were asked, are you willing to host WAFCON? Those meetings was meetings to say in the event that it doesn't happen in Morocco. Somebody or some people then told the Deputy Minister, no, Morocco's not hosting it anymore. You can announce. So she didn't just wake up and announce. She was told, because she's been part of the meetings with me, where we were looking at our stadiums, just in case, our readiness. And when she was told by some officials, no, it's fine, Sariva's going to go ahead, she then announced it, only to find out that Morocco is not saying they're not holding it. Now, I want to protect the DM and tell you that I would have done the same in the same situation. I've been part of the meetings, and all of a sudden I'm being told by officials, now here's the truth that people are running away from, and I want to deal with this matter today. The situation surrounding the Women's African Cup of Nations is deeply concerning. And we must ask, we must not be scared to ask two difficult questions that many people are thinking or are saying softly, but they are not willing to say it aloud. I'm going to say it right here today. Are we now all being made to suffer because Senegal won the men's AFCON? Must we now suffer? If Senegal has not won that final, would we still be sitting here with this uncertainty? Let me be clear. Congratulations to Senegal. I was there to witness that final myself. It was a great match and a deserved victory. But Morocco must accept that a game of football is just a game at the end. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That match was decided by the smallest of margins. One penalty that did not go in. No country should be judged for losing a football match, but the country can be judged for how it responds afterwards. And one can only wonder if the situation would have been the same if Morocco has won the AFCON. But here's the question that people are scared to ask. Another one. Why do we treat women with such disdain in football? If that was a men's cup, we would have known the date, everything would have been arranged. But no, it's just women. How do coaches prepare if it has not been confirmed or cancelled? How come that where I am from in Hidedal, there's going to be a soccer tournament? We know the date, we know the time, we know the venues. How come a world, Africa's top premier women's cup, we don't know the date, we don't know what's happening? There's absolute silence. Morocco's not saying they're doing it, they're not saying they're not doing it. What about the players' well-being? What about the mental state? How do we allow? But let me tell you what is in South Africa. Is back hosting events, hosting functions. And I make it clear here that if Morocco's not going to host, if they're going to host AFCON, let them do so. We shall support them. But if they're not going to do that, WAFCON, they must tell us now. I'm going to repeat that. If Morocco is ready to host WAFCON, because they had a brilliant AFCON, they should do so. But if they are not ready, we want to tell them, we are not a country with no stadiums. We are not a country with no infrastructure. We as South Africa will never be held hostage by countries that has less than what we have. As the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, if you are not going to host, because maybe one or two other countries you can tell them they must wait for you because they don't have the infrastructure. We don't wait for no one. We will not allow women to be treated in such a fashion. We will not allow women's football to be how in this day and age people are scared to say it. I'm not scared to say it. If Morocco's not going to host it, South Africa, as the Deputy Minister said, we are standing ready. Because at the end of the day, this is all to embarrass the president of CAF. And he didn't say it, I'm saying it. So don't attribute what I'm saying here to him. We are ready. We have the stadiums, we have the people, we have the infrastructure, we have the transport system, better than any country in Africa. But we're not going to treat women like that. They don't know what they're traveling, they don't know what to tell their kids, they don't know to make arrangements, but we will never treat men's football like that. So I said what I said. Women deserve certainty, and they deserve respect. They deserve a tournament worthy of their dedication to the game. But we are all silent. All the countries are silent. The ministers don't speak, but in corners we want to talk. So today, I am saying it here. We are ready to host because we will not allow countries that don't have our infrastructure to be held hostage because people can't make up their minds. Federation funding and governance. Government funding remains an important part of developing sport in the country. Now I get criticized, the DM gets criticized for holding back funds. Yes, we do hold back funds. Because under the 7th administration, under us, the tap has been closed. You can't just get money, we don't know what you did with the money. We have 57 compliant federations who received their funding by December 2025. For the 2025-2026 financial year, the department allocated 98 million, of which 84.7 million has already been transferred. The remaining balance relates to the outstanding federations and to the offset of 5 million advance previously made to SAFA. No federation had its budget cut. It's just, they go to the media, they say they cut our budget. They lie. The only exceptions are 3 major professional codes: Cricket SA, SAFA, and SARU. Because of the scale of those organizations, special dispensation arrangements were being currently discussed with them. Transfers are being processed to 4 additional federations that have recently met their compliance requirements. For example, South African Hockey received its original allocation of 3 million. 2 federations did not meet compliance requirements and therefore did not receive funding this year, which is the Figure Skating Federation failed to submit the required document. And under us, you're not going to get money without giving us the documents. That's one. Taekwondo did not submit audited financial statements. Public funds must be accounted for. Municipal infrastructure and sports facilities. Let me also speak about something that affects millions of South Africans who may never attend a Formula 1 race or LIV Golf tournament, but who simply want a decent place to play sport in their community. Sports begin at community level. It begins at local fields. That's why the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture works closely with municipalities. The MIC, the Municipal Infrastructure Grant, ensure that communities have access to safe and functional sporting facilities. For many years, MIC funding has been one of the most important tools for building and maintaining community infrastructure, including swimming pools, sports facilities, recreational space, and community venues. But we must also be honest about the challenges. Too often facilities are built but not properly maintained. Too often projects are delayed or poorly implemented. And too often communities are left with infrastructure that does not meet the standard they deserve. Government allocates 5% of MIC for sports and recreation facilities. However, many municipalities struggle to implement sports projects, often due to reprioritization of the money. They use the money for other things to pay salaries, the municipalities. We are about to make a list of those municipalities so we can stop being blamed for municipalities and mayors that takes money that must build our swimming pools, our infrastructure, and they pay salaries. We are now compiling a list of those mayors so people must know where government of national unity has given them the money. Because resources are limited and prioritization is essential. We also call on the private sector to help. Then basketball. The most significant governance intervention we've taken relates to basketball South Africa. Following serious governance breaches relating to the hosting of the 2024 Afro-Basket tournament, the department withdrew recognition of Basketball South Africa as the official federation. This resulted in the withdrawal of all rights and privileges, including funding. We remind all 4 federations that are willing to do this when they fail to deliver and let down the people who dedicate themselves to sport. We will do to you what we've done to Basketball South Africa. The time of accountability has arrived. We will not allow people to use taxpayers' money and not do what the mandate requires of them. Working with FIBA Africa, a process is now underway to rebuild basketball governance in South Africa. FIBA Africa has appointed board member Hesham El Hariri to work with the department and SASCOC to develop a roadmap to reconstitute the federation and elect new leadership. We're going to elect new leadership. Basketball is usually popular amongst young South Africans. It deserves proper governance, so I want to say to all the young people, basketball will be back. We're working with SASCOC, we're working with FIBA. We are going to fix basketball, and basketball will become one of the top codes in our country. CCI sector clusters. Ladies and gentlemen, 30 years for the time of Brenda Fassie. I remember I read an article when I was in prison about Brenda Fassie, where she told Mandela she has no money. I think Mandela bought her a car or something like that. Now, if Brenda Fassie didn't have money at that time, artists after Brenda has also struggled more because Brenda was the biggest star this country has ever had. She sold out stadiums. But Brenda Fassie had financial problems. Most of our artists have financial problems. Now, there's a huge criticism of me. I cannot do the same thing that has been done for 30 years and artists are still suffering. The artists of today can't even bury themselves, some of them. We have to give money when they die. Which is very unfair towards the domestic workers. Which is very unfair towards other working people or jobless people. Why are we burying the artist? But some people also give a service to the country. Football players we don't bury. They also entertain people. So we sat and we said, I'm not going to do stuff the way it has been done before. DM is not going to do stuff the way it has been done before. So then we looked at what is the problem? Why are our artists so poor? We then realized, except not having, except being at the hands of very bad producers and record labels, they don't have the commercial know-how to know that this life of artists is not every day, your salary is not guaranteed. So what we've done, we then realized they need proper representation. We then started sector clusters, where we said to them, this is for poetry, this is for crafting, this is for choral music, this is for folks music, this one here is for dancing, this one is for art, this one here is for theater. We then made them choose their own boards. We then gave those boards money, I think 2 million DJ. We gave them 2 million as a board, just as functioning capital, working capital. They must now go out and meet with ambassadors, meet with ministers, meet with municipalities, and say, you have to book, here's the database. When I want to book an artist, it's not difficult. But imagine you have your 21st birthday party, and you want to book, let's say you want to book black coffee. You don't know how to get hold of him. You call somebody, that person calls, he says, hey man, don't forget me, they want black coffee's number, give me. Before you get to black coffee, you already 20% of the money goes for commission. We want to cut the middleman out. We want the country to know this is the number for my 21st birthday party. This is the number for my wedding. This is the number if you want somebody to sing the national anthem. There will be no more middlemen, because even these people can't even sing, but he makes more money than the singer himself. So this cluster is cutting out the middlemen. The ones that march, they say they're marching to my office. The ones that say they're marching to my office is the ones that has been benefiting. We are now opening the space. A person wants to make money as if these singers are their slaves. So that is, the clusters will be launched. 16 of the 17 clusters are fully operational. We'll officially launch the CCI sector cluster on 30 March 2026 at New Rock's Culture Park under the theme, United Voices Create Futures. So this is another invite for the journalists that are present to come and view how we change, how artists get paid, how to get hold of them, how will they get proper representation, how we will pay for lawyers for them, how we'll help with accounting with them, how we'll help people to read their contracts. Because they give them such a big contract. All these artists want to do is just want to perform. By the time he makes money, he sees it's full, but his wallet is empty. We are dealing with it now. I was in the news for 3 months straight, I think, on the Venus Biennale, on the Gabriel Goliath issue in the Venus Biennale. I was hoping to say much more here today, but because the artist yesterday has made an appeal, I will reserve most of what I wanted to say here. But let me say that I never broke any agreement with Gabriel Goliath. I've met Gabriel Goliath once. She asked me for a picture. I took the picture, I introduced myself, she told me who she was, and I left. I never met her in my life. I never had a meeting with her. I've never brokered any peace. I never promised her, you are going to Venus Biennale. I never did that. I met her for 2 minutes where she asked for a picture. We took the picture. And I didn't even remember. I was reminded by my chief of staff. And I saw her work. And she's an artist. And I love all the work of all the artists. And I must support them. I must support her work too. But I want to make it clear. The court upheld my decision as legal. We are confident that the appeal courts will rule the same way. But let us allow the process to play out. We did look into taking other artists to Venus, but we're concerned about the issues that would arise if Goliath won her case. So there will be no exhibition this year, unfortunately. We are looking to change, and we are going to change how we approach the use of the space going forward. But we'll speak more of that later. I want to also say there wasn't any censorship. There was a big lack of communication. But we will never censor artists. But as the minister, I must have a right to say which art do we, as the minister, want at particular events. When we have our biggest stage in the world, we want to see South African art being at our biggest stage in the world. Other stages, people say, yeah, McKenzie, Minister McKenzie is only against her because she's for Palestine and all those things. Let me also answer that. This government is very pro-Palestine. I joined this government with my eyes open, knowing what this government stands for. I have no right to go against what is now government policy or what is still government policy. The GNU has not sat and discussed and workshop our geopolitical strategy. But the current geopolitical strategy, the country is pro-Palestine. I am pro-Israel as a person, but I'm not going to be scared to say it. I'm not going to enforce my beliefs on this government. I must fall in line with what, but my personal view is, and I make no bones, being pro-Israel doesn't mean I'm anti-Palestine. It's not a zero-sum game. I belong to a political party that allows every member. We have great majority of Muslims in our party that walks around in our meetings with Palestine flags. We don't, because we don't tell them you can't do this or you shouldn't do that. So I just wanted to make that clear, that my personal political preferences got nothing to do with the decisions that we make in the department. The DM is a person from the river to the sea, many times. But look at how nicely we work together. She has her beliefs, but government has a foreign policy, which I should respect. If government say tomorrow I must go to Palestine, I can't say no. My beliefs don't allow me. Then I must resign. So you see, people are so used to people that they bully. You'll never bully me into hating Israel. You can write 10,000 articles about me. I know what I believe in. And my belief is there by my party and by my house. But the belief of the government is the one I should respect. I hope I'm very clear on that issue. Heritage and culture. I want to say that South Africa does not have a mega concert. There's no mega concert in Africa. You have mega concert Coachella, Glastonbury, Tomorrowland. They draw global audiences, more than 100,000. We are going to have our first mega concert this year called Mzansi Raw. Mzansi Raw, we are also working on an exciting initiative, a major cultural and music festival called Mzansi Raw. The vision is to create a world-class festival that brings together African artists, South African talent, and major international performers across 4 days of music, art, and cultural celebration. 4 days we are going to have, the music is not going to stop. We are going to have the first in Africa, the first major concert in Africa. There's no reason why South Africa cannot host it. We are the kings and queens of Amapiano. We are the kings and queens of Amapiano. Some, they want to claim Amapiano is our thing, Kintuarona. It is born in South Africa. Amapiano, people can claim Amapiano. It is born. The Ford motor vehicle was done by Henry Ford. That other cars came after Ford. Toyota, Nissan, Bugatti, but Henry Ford was the person that we know. South Africa, as the creators, and it originated in South Africa. We are going to also have the biggest Amapiano festival in FNB Stadium. On top of this festival will be about fashion, about clothes, about poetry, about dancing, about music, just having a good time for 4 days. We intend to bring 100,000 people to Mzansi Raw. It will be the biggest mega festival in South Africa and Africa. Later this month, South Africa will participate in a deeply significant moment in our national history. On 23 March, 63 Khoi and San ancestors will be reburied in Steenkop in the Northern Cape under the capable leadership of President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, who will preside over the ceremony. Those remains were removed from the resting places during the colonial era and treated as scientific specimens. I want to thank the Antarian Museum in Scotland, who didn't give us problems when we asked them to return our Khoi and San ancestors' remains. Their return home represent an act of restoring dignity to the Khoi and San people who were denied it in life and even in death. It will be a moment of national reflection and healing. I want to thank the Scottish government also and the UK government for holding our hand and making sure they're returning. While I'm on that subject, we are on the process of returning all our stolen artifacts around the world. Some of you are going to Paris to go and look at African art in Paris, museums. We are bringing it back. We are going first to negotiate, but if we have to approach the international courts, we are ready and able to do that. National Language Summit. We'll convene a 2-day National Language Summit on 16 to 17 March in Cape Town under the theme Towards a Unified National Language Landscape and Action Plan. This summit, in partnership with Spansel and Sadila, aims to address gaps in our national language framework, including the need for a shared national language plan and greater recognition of languages. Importantly, the summit will include all stakeholders with special focus on the Khoi and San communities, ensuring their voices are represented in shaping South Africa's multilingual democracy. Through frank dialogue and collaboration, we aim to develop a unified national language policy and a clear roadmap for its implementation. Which also brings me to another controversial subject. Before I was minister, names were changed in this country. It is part of our constitution to change the names that people feel is offending. We have recently, 4 months into my term, I got letters from the Name Change Council, the provincial one, and they said they want to change the name of Graaf Reinet to Robert Sobukwe. I asked them, have you done all this, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the necessary things? I found they've not done that. I said, we cannot change the name, because this is not revenge. This is reconciliation. Let us go back and do it. It took them another year and 2 months. They went to go and do that. They came back to the office and said, Minister, this is the committee mandated by the Constitution to advise the minister. Minister, we have done all of you ask of us. My job as a minister is to make sure I do what the Constitution demands of me. I've gazetted the name Robert Sobukwe. Now the Democratic Alliance goes around, not on social media, in the communities, and say that I have changed the name. I have never changed the name Robert Sobukwe. It is the will of the people. And if it's not the will of the people, they can still go and petition and take us to court within 1 month if they feel the name should not change. My job as the minister is to be constitutionally compliant. But I also want to, that was a political answer I gave you. I want to give you the McKenzie answer. It's unfair if we expect black people and colored people in this country to still drive in Verwoerd Street, Hendrik Verwoerd Street. It's unfair. That name carries pain for them. We should have empathy. What irritated me about some of the complaints, one of my friends called me, well, my ex-friend, we're no longer friends after that call. He called me like, hoe durf jy? Hoe durf jy die naam Graf Reinet verander? Roughly translated, how dare you change the name? I said, do you know who Graf Reinet is? He says, no. I said, it is Mr. Graf, a colonialist, with his woman, Reinet. Do you know who Robert Sobukwe is? He's a hero. He says, no, but you cannot do this. I said, answer one question for me. And I don't expose him so, but I'll just say, I said, answer one question for me. What is your company's name? I'm not going to give you the company's name, but I can tell the company's name is very black for BE purposes. So we cannot have a problem calling our companies Kuzwayo and Sons, but all your sons are white, but the company is Kuzwayo and Sons. But you have a problem when people want to call. In this country, we should not, white people also have the right to come to me and say, ons soek hierdie land. There's Beyers Nodia. He's a white man. What's the airport in Bloemfontein called? Bram Fischer. It's a white man. So there's no revenge here. But we must be honest about these conversations. We are now in the process now. I saw there's a process now to rename Cape Town International to Krotoa Airport. I'm going to sign it. Because even the Khoi and San people have a right to see their heroes as part of South Africa. Beyers Nadia was a hero for all of South Africa. So I needed to talk about that. You can make things about me. I was not here when Tshwane was called Tshwane. I went to jail, it was Pretoria. I came out, they said, we meet you in Tshwane. I said, where's Tshwane? So I wasn't here. When Leader Peace Mabe and them were changing, when I went in, it was Pretoria. Then I see Tshwane. Many places I found. Now I'm the minister. I must now stop a process started by Nelson Mandela. Who am I? Can't do that. And I want to say, particularly to the colored community, you must not be used. You must also bring your names of your leaders. If you must not be used and say, Robert Sobukwe was a hero, let me tell you. We are free today because of Robert Sobukwe. Robert Sobukwe they feared him more than they feared Nelson Mandela. He's the only man that they had a clause, a law, like a clause, the Sobukwe clause. He was a hero. He fought for our freedom. I'm standing here because of Mandela. I'm standing here because of Robert Sobukwe. We can't name everything Mandela. But when we say Mandela, nobody complains. Robert Sobukwe did nothing different than what Nelson Mandela did. Why don't we complain when we name things Mandela? But the moment you say Sobukwe, Sisulu. It becomes a complaint. Those people also sacrifice their lives. Harry the Strandloper, Otsumato, the first person to be imprisoned on Robben Island. Under my leadership, he now has a statue on Robben Island. He was not only the first, I think he was also the first to escape. So, democracy is not easy. Democracy is not easy. You can't believe in democracy. But when the majority of people want a name change, then you're against it. I wanted to make that very clear today, that we must respect what we have. We're having Afrikaans, we are celebrating Afrikaans. This, at the town monument in Paarl, I'm just going to go through the last ones quickly. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the African World Heritage Fund. For 2 decades, the institution has supported the conservation of Africa's heritage sites. Robben Island is turning 30 years old. We are going to continue to make Robben Island the most visited museum on the African continent. Rugby's greatest rivalry. Before I conclude, let me say something about one of the greatest rivalries in world sport. The rivalry between the Springboks and the All Blacks, which will enjoy a special incoming tour all on its own this year in a way that we've never witnessed and enjoyed in many years. The rivalry stretches back more than a century. I think it's 108 years, and is widely regarded as the greatest in international rugby. Between them, the two nations have won 7 Rugby World Cups, and their matches are often decided by the narrowest of margins. The upcoming rugby's greatest rivalry tour in 2026 will include matches across South Africa. Before concluding was a historic 4th Test match in Baltimore in the United States. Few sporting contests carry the same intensity or legacy, and we are blessed to be living through the greatest era in Springbok rugby history while it happens. We pay tribute to the players, Siya Kolisi and his team, the coaches, the management of South African rugby, and its president, Mark Alexander. We are paying homage to them, making this possible this year, and it caps off a period of uncertainty around the funding of the Springboks that we can now gratefully put behind us. Last sentence. South Africa is a country defined by its sporting passion and cultural creativity. From the Soweto Derby to global events like LIV Golf, from the dream of bringing Formula One back to our country, to the preservation of our heritage and the celebration of our language and culture. We are building momentum. Even you have to admit, I look at this list. January, we had Whale and Mariah the scientist in Cape Town. February, we had the Lumineers. March, we've got Inka Kenzia, Brett Newski in Joburg, Amit Yahaf. We've got Doja Cat, Sunbed Arena. We've got Jack and the Weatherman. We've got Brian Adams. We've got DJ Snake in Ultra South Africa. We've got Ella May. We've got Boys to Men. We've got UB40 featuring Ellie Campbell. We've got J. Cole. Never in the history you can see things are happening under the leadership of Peace Mabe and Gayton McKenzie. The ministers of happiness, the ministers that make things happen. Whether you like it or not, we make things happen. The rugby is coming, the football is coming, LIV is coming, F1 is coming. That's who we are. South Africa is back on the map. May God bless you. Thank you very much. Talking to Formula One about the birds we are getting, but previously we got very weak birds, I must be honest, but the bird that came from Cape Town now is a very strong bird. Kalami's bird is strong, but there came another strong bird, and We have now decided that we are going to announce in the next 2 weeks after LIV Golf, 3 weeks, when is LIV Golf? Yeah, after LIV Golf, we are going to announce the Formula One local organizing committee, which will now take the decision. All right. Maybe I think you misheard me. I said there's a special arrangement. That arrangement is actually take money away from them to give to the smaller ones. There's the money is there, but we want to give it to the struggling ones because cricket's got money. I mean, yeah, they got sponsorships, and we know they're going to win today. And I know we're going to go to the final. To the cricketers, I want to say, we'll be right there to support you. But I agree with you. But I'm also a believer with Sapphire, I can tell you, I was personally involved in getting them honor to sponsor them. I speak to Sasso. I'm a believer that government's money, it is just to get you going. But I believe corporates, there's no country in the world, there's no sport. The CEOs of hockey and all of them, they should resign if they can't raise money. Your job as a CEO, if you can't raise people that can raise money. Government doesn't have enough money. I wish I could give all of them money. That's why I'm speaking to the big ones now, like, you got Standard Bank now. You've got Suzuki now, cricket. You know, football has now got Standard. Can we not take some of your money and give to the struggling ones? You know what has happened in this country? It was always a case of whoever's doing wrong knows somebody somewhere in power. And they would get away with it. The arrogance. But that era is over under McKenzie and the government of national unity. The 7th administration, we got our marching orders and we said this is not about connections. You got to go out there and make sure you do the right thing. Basketball was a case in point. There were very powerful individuals in basketball. They thought they're untouchable. They totally thought they're untouchable until I cut them. They will never re-enter basketball immediately. They must also go and be rehabilitated and go for director's courses and what's expected of them. But we'll bring people that love the game. And in sport, if you don't give money, I remember with ASA, swipe a credit card at Foschini, and because you feel powerful. But now Mackenzie's here, we don't allow that stuff here. So I'm saying that, you look at wrestling. Those people came and they're doing the right thing. And we gave them more money, a little bit more money. Netball, you can see they're on their way to the right path. It's very difficult where I'm sitting because I have taken a posture of the ones that are doing well, we will reward them. But taekwondo and figure skating, they don't come with things and then run to the media. Mackenzie cut our budget. Yeah, but you must ask them, did you give him the financials? Did you give him the auditor statements? That time is over. Even these mayors that are using the money here and pay salaries and not fix the stadiums, they must know we're going to name and shame them. People want the swimming pools to work. Mackenzie, you didn't fix this. But then I went go check. We gave them millions. So they get the money. And it's not all of them that are bad. I'll make you 2 examples. George Municipality, the previous mayor, Jackie from Brandes, I think is her name. She got 40 million. They fixed the stadium. 100%. Now, TS Galaxy was playing, I think, against Sundowns. Yes, Solomon Mahlangu. Solomon Mahlangu was never working. It was going derelict. Then we stepped in. Then we had our first PSL game at Solomon Mahlangu. That's what we are doing. We are busy fixing a Radu Park Stadium. We are busy fixing swimming pools. And you are going to see, under my ministry, it's a ministry of fixing, 2020 fix. That's what we call this. Our plan was simple. We first thought when we started initially that 2027 is the year we want to host it. Only for us, when we went to Singapore, and the government of Singapore was taking us through everything they had to do. We were sitting there, we're like, there's no way. There's no way we'll be able to do all of that by 2027. And we were honest about it. So we are looking now at 2028, 2029. That's what we're looking at now. We have the money, make no mistake about that. We have the manpower. We have the organizers. But when Singapore was telling us what they needed to do, you know that even the food the players are eating, it's a moving circus. The tires, it's not just bringing tires here. It must be stored in certain temperature. So I said, I like to be safe and not embarrass the country. I said, let us replan. We have the money now. So now we're checking 2028, 2029. But we're going to make it fun for the people. We are going to bring, we spoke to Pernod Ricard the other day to bring one of the companies they sponsor, like Red Bull brought the car here. We are speaking to other people, Heineken, to do it again, Red Bull. That's what we are doing. The stadium accommodates 94,000 people. Once you put 94,200 people in that stadium, it's a recipe for disaster. Now we can't see this. This is not a new thing that you are seeing as journalists. It has been there. But we can't just say, hey, something is going to happen. We must do something to prevent that from happening. I've now taken the lead. I met with Prasa to ask them what is possible. Because with the rugby, we opened the line there. Minister Creasy opened the line, which was a brilliant intervention by Minister Creasy. Very brilliant intervention. Now we are going to talk to Minister Creasy now to open the line at F&B. Yeah. Now we got the prices already for the opening of that line. It's 160 million to reopen the line. Let me put it this way. So we're going to meet with Minister Creasy and say, can you do the same interventions you did at F&B Stadium, Ellis Park? Then we looked at because that will ease traffic, the congestion of taxis, the congestion of cars. Then we look at the ticketing system. It's a mess. We must be honest about these things. No, we mustn't just, so we need more security. You know, I went to watch many years ago, I think 2003, I went to watch an Arsenal game. And when I came, somebody was sitting on my seat. It was with Charles. And somebody was sitting on my seat in 2003. I said, hey, brah, get up. Charles like, no, gee. At that time, I'm fresh from jail. And then Charles said, security? The security came and said, sorry, can you leave? You must look for security sometimes. We need to change it. We have had the Orkney massacre. We have had the Ellis Park massacre. It was Chiefs and Pirates game. Are we not a learning people? Have we not seen enough? People have lost their lives. This year we're commemorating those lives. So I'm saying to you that our intervention is going to be painful. It's going to be very strict. It's going to be intentional. And it's going to be results driven. Look, there's no messiah here that will fix this thing. It's a team effort. There's absolutely no messiah, one person coming, I'm fixing this thing. No, it's a team effort. JMPD, stadium management, Prasa, Dsac, Kaizer Chiefs management, Pirates management. They must also understand Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates management. They are victims of their success now. They have done the marketing. The people love this team. But we must look at alternatives like next field we must set up as the department also. We must also play our role. We have fan parks. That's what they do overseas when they know they're going to have full capacity with a Madrid and a Barca game, for instance. That'll be like that. We need to make sure that even the people that are outside, they can watch the game. Because as soon as they see a goal coming in, they start pushing. So there's a lot of interventions and I want it to be an open meeting. I want the media to be there. So the media can see it's not going to be these closed meetings where you are just being told we are thinking. The meeting I'm going to call will be an open meeting where you sit there and you have observer status. Don't now when we talk, you're like, sorry, I just want to ask, no. Let's hear what is our plans and our interventions.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are still here, but I think we're done, for the day. We've heard the minister speaking about the VAR, finally. We know it's coming. Also, he spoke about golf, he spoke about F1, he spoke about many other things, and if you guys are not satisfied with what he said, you can drop your comments down below and maybe we can watch the channel and actually listen to us. But what is more exciting about everything is that finally artists might go to the World Cup. Yes, and he even spoke about a piano festival. He called it something. I even forgot the name because this was an exciting day. He delivered on many other things that we've had questions about. And I think we must say that we are actually happy with what Gayton McKenzie was speaking about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, South Africa's sports, arts and culture is about to change. And he did say that we might have a halftime show. So, we'll see how it goes. So, thank you from me, Gugla. Bye.